Over the past year and a half, I have made 5 main videos criticizing different aspects of Rec Room. This included the leveling system, the economy, the influx of low-effort rooms, the lore, and the invasion events. Now that some time has passed since I made these videos, I thought I'd go back and see what changes Rec Room has made to these different aspects of the game. Who knows, maybe they fixed everything that I've criticized by now. So let's take a look at each of these 5 videos and see if Rec Room stole my ideas to make the game better, or if it's gotten worse. The first main critical video that I made was 15 months ago, where I talked about how Rec Room's leveling system kinda sucks. My main point in this video was that level 50 being the maximum is really stupid and kinda makes the entire system pointless. I mean, if the goal of the system is to have a number that shows others how much you've played and interacted with Rec Room, then it kinda fails when everyone has the same number past a certain point. Another issue I discussed is that there's a daily XP cap to arbitrarily slow down how fast players can go through levels. And also, players are not ever told that there is an XP cap or that they've hit the XP cap, so you're kinda just left guessing whether you've hit the maximum for the day or not. The XP cap stuff is personal for me because right after the level cap was raised in 2020, I did a 6-hour stream where I tried to grind as many levels as I could, and for the majority of that stream, I wasn't getting any XP because I had already hit the XP cap, but I didn't even know it existed until after the fact.
I've been in the last little, sliver of my XP bar for 3 hours now, and I feel like it's broken or something at this point, because I've just been in the exact same spot for so long.
So that's a scenario I don't want anyone else to have to go through. Another complaint I had is that the only way to really get XP is by playing Rec Room Originals, and this sucks for players who spend most of their time creating stuff or in private rooms or chilling in custom hangouts, stuff like that. They deserve XP for interacting with the game just as much as anyone else, but the system only rewards one type of player. And the final criticism was that only getting a single 5-star box at level 50 kinda sucks. Like, they could have at least thrown in another 2 or 3 5-stars there. So has anything changed about any of those points since then? No. Pretty much nothing has changed. There have been no updates to the leveling system. I guess that a couple small things have happened though. Really soon after my video released, Rec Room did a live AMA with Gribbly, and one of the questions asked by a player was whether they were going to change or update the leveling system at all. There is a chance that this player asked this question because they had just seen my video, so I take full credit for this.
Ooh, the level cap.
Get to
So
level
the short
99.
answer is yes.
What?
Yeah, so
What?
the short answer is yes. I don't want to give you a time frame on that because we're still in the design phase.
Also, back when Rec Room was doing invasion events all the time, they had it so that getting XP for the invasion event also gave your actual Rec Room account XP too. For a while, because of this, participating in the invasion events was the best and fastest way to get to level 50. So I guess that was technically a new way they added to get XP, but it was only for a limited time event, so it doesn't really count. Also, only getting a single 5-star box from hitting level 50 is arguably even worse now just because of how many more 5-star items there are in the game now. Ultimately, recently, Rec Room has just been focusing way more on adding new features that will actually get them profit, like new UGC tools for creators to use and make rooms with, instead of working on features that just improve the player experience and have no hugely measurable benefit to the company like the leveling system. Exhibit A of this, look at how long it's taken for them to finish adding the new UI system. It's been slowly getting added for over 3 years now, and it still isn't done. So I guess it makes sense why they haven't worked on the leveling system at all, but it's still just kind of disappointing to see it be neglected like all these other old features that haven't been touched in a while. Before we get into the second topic, I'd like to take a second to tell you about the sponsor of this video, VRWave. VRWave makes custom prescription lenses for headsets like the Quest 2 and 3 to correct nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism so that you don't have to wear glasses while in VR. Even if you're like me and you don't have a prescription, VRWave's blue light filter and anti-glare lenses can help block blue light from your headset that can cause eye strain and sleep deprivation. VRWave makes lenses for pretty much any VR headset, soon even including the brand new Quest 3. They ship worldwide, so you can check out the link in the description to get custom VR lenses tailored to you. Thanks to VRWave for sponsoring, and let's get back into the video. The second critical video that I made on Rec Room was about a year ago on the game's economy and how everything is so expensive now. The video is a little hard to summarize, but basically the idea is that there's these 3 classes of Rec Room players. There's the lower class of free-to-play players with barely any tokens, the middle class of players who sometimes buy tokens or Rec Room Plus, and there's the upper class of creators with millions of tokens. This class divide pushes creators to price stuff in their rooms higher to maximize profits, while Rec Room also releases very expensive outfit items. So essentially, free-to-play players just aren't getting enough tokens to actually spend on anything in the game. And also, Rec Room paying out creators in tokens before it can be cashed out instead of just actual money is a little bit scummy because it incentivizes creators to put that money back into the economy instead of cashing it out, especially younger creators. So, has any of that stuff changed since I made the video? Yeah, no, that's funny. Even at the end of that video, I talked about how extremely unlikely it was for any of this stuff to get better. The class divide is arguably even worse now, with Rec Room Plus players getting getting extra tokens from boxes while free-to-play players don't. And also, new Rec Room items are just getting more and more expensive. See any of the lore stuff or the 25,000 token ghost bow that they sold at Retcon. Rec Room is just never going to do anything about this because it would explicitly and directly make them less money. Like, they set it up this way on purpose. This one is, never getting better. Sorry, guys. The third video, 10 months ago, was about low-effort rooms ruining the game by being republished and flooding the new tab. There was essentially a somewhat organized group of players consistently republishing these garbage costume park rooms to abuse Rec Room's algorithm and get a whole bunch of money and subscribers. And they would then use those subscribers to be promoters and have people pay them or give them an earnings cut to advertise their rooms. This was the video that I was most hopeful would be fixed by now because I had a whole section at the end talking about how Rec Room staff had been aware of it and were actively planning on taking action in the next few months. I theorized that this fix would be a series of algorithm changes that doesn't promote these low-effort republished rooms as much so that people would stop making them when they realized it wasn't worth it anymore. And to Rec Room's credit, this is actually the first thing in this video so far that they actually ended up taking direct action on, even if it wasn't in the way I expected. Many of the rooms that I showed off in that video were taken down for being republished, and the creators in them that had repeatedly broken the code of conduct were either banned from publishing rooms or banned from cashing out tokens. And for a while, this did actually work. A lot of these room genres that were flooding the new tab died out for a bit as the creators realized what was happening and left Rec Room. But as the prophecy foretold, when one evil is vanquished, another comes to take its place. I don't know what prophecy foretold that, but I'm sure it happened at some point. I'm sure that you've all seen all these how far can you whatever Roblox rooms flooding the new tab. It's not just those though, it's all of these rooms with Roblox thumbnails that are designed to just waste as much of your time in them as possible. So, are they going to deal with this new wave of rooms? Well, originally, my answer was going to be no, but as of last week, things might have actually changed. Rec Room let these rooms grow unchecked for months, and I'd kind of concluded that they were never going to make any systemic changes to stop them because of how much money they were making for the game. But just recently, Rec Room announced that they have some new policies for room thumbnails that is directly combating these types of rooms by disallowing misleading or stolen thumbnails. It's still too early to tell how effective these changes will actually be. Maybe the rooms will just stay the same and they'll try and find workarounds for the thumbnails. But the fact that Rec Room made any big changes directly targeting this low-effort content gives me hope that they haven't completely given up on trying to promote high-quality rooms and fix the game's reputation. So as of now, this issue is still undecided. I'm somewhat hopeful for the future, but I also definitely see a likelihood that people just adapt to the rules and this problem continues to grow forever. The fourth video that I made was about 9 months ago about the Rec Room lore and how it just kinda sucks. Rec Room's lore used to be something that served to put the game's world into context and add a bit of fun mystery to the background of some of the activities. But ever since they introduced the Teller and S, or arguably even the Forbidden One, it has just completely jumped the shark and doesn't feel like it has any actual relation to the game at all, and it makes no sense. None of these characters in the lore are explained or feel like they're actual characters that fit in Rec Room. The lore doesn't actually impact Rec Room besides selling limited time cosmetics about it, and the cosmetics that they do sell are priced so absurdly high that they just even further cheapen the lore as a whole and make it feel like a lame excuse to sell expensive stuff. Which it literally is. So has any of this stuff related to the lore changed since my video? Again, the answer is no. There have been multiple new pop-up shops since then, selling a bunch of new Teller and S cosmetics that are just as expensive as always. The latest Teller set that they sold not that long ago would have costed you over $100 actual dollars to get enough tokens to buy. But my main complaint with the lore was never that the items were too expensive. I mean, it feels a bit weird, especially when the prices are that absurd, but I get that Rec Room is a free game and they gotta make money somehow. My main complaint is that the lore is just stupid and doesn't make any sense despite them continuing to push it this hard, and that hasn't changed at all either. The latest shop was once again accompanied with a bunch of text everywhere trying to talk about the lore and explain it and all that, and it's just not working. There's some organization called Shadow that the characters S and H are a part of, and I can only assume that they're called S and H because those are the first two letters of Shadow, as if that isn't the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Look, Rec Room, we are beyond the point of you trying to elaborate and explain the lore better. You missed your chance for that. No matter how much you try and make whatever lore you're going for at this point make sense, you are never going to be able to justify the existence of the Teller. This isn't some sci-fi, multi-dimensional, future-seeing franchise. This is Rec Room. We are in a school doing activities and school plays. The name of the goddamn game is Rec room. There was no proper foundation set for this shift in tone, and I am frankly baffled that they are sticking to it and continuing to push it so hard when literally nobody likes or wants this. Actually, I guess I'm really not that surprised. Obviously, the reason they keep doing it is because these lore cosmetics make a ton of money, and it's not that hard for them to spin up these pop-up shops to cash in. After my initial video about this dropped, some Rec Room staff reached out to me and told me that they basically agreed with my entire video and thought the lore was stupid too. Some of them even suggested that they thought Rec Room was going to be listening to my video and starting to shift the lore away from this garbage back to around how it was in 2017. But clearly that has not happened, and now we're just left with the Teller, my favorite Rec Room lore character. Everybody loves the Teller, right? Make sure to hit that cleansed subscribe button of Elsewhere if you love the Teller as much as I do. I heard that if you press it, it opens up a portal to a secret room that gives you free black and white film. The final critical video that I published, besides this one, I guess, was 4 months ago about the Invasion events. I basically just said that Invasion 1 was a really cool event, but then they proceeded to do a new one every 2 months, and it got old really fast. I also just kind of touched on Rec Room events in general because there haven't really been many great modern Rec Room events. The NBA and NFL stuff kind of sucked, and League of Heroes was okay, but it still was just not great, and that's because most of these events pretty much just didn't have anything to actually do. Rec Room events have mostly just served to drop new cosmetics instead of offering any kind of unique, limited time gameplay experience that players could partake in with others. I mean, I guess there was Rec Rocks, but that was more of a weekend show than like an interactive event, I don't know. And that's why Invasion was so great, because you could actually do things in it. It felt like an actual event that you could progress through. It just got really overdone really fast because they kept doing it again and again. So, for the final time, did Rec Room listen? Have there been any more Invasion events since my video? The answer is that there have not been. Rec Room staff have publicly shared that Invasion events are basically over and gone. I think that technically that makes this our first definitive success of this video, but of course, just like a interactive Elsewhere item, it comes with an asterisk on it. I didn't really want them to never do an Invasion event again. I just wanted them to do it less often. So seeing that they may never do another Invasion event is honestly a little bit sad. Also, fun fact, I did some research, and one reason they might have stopped doing Invasion was because some of the employees handling it left the company, not because they actually realized they needed to slow down. So that's great. It's okay. I'm sure we'll get another Invasion event in a year when they realize they can make a whole bunch of money by doing the grand return of Invasion. If they were to get rid of Invasion or take a break from it, I talked in my video about how I'd want them to fill that space with other events of similar quality. And they haven't really done that. I mean, to be fair, it has only been a few months since the final Invasion, so I definitely could be proven wrong as time goes on. But the new Rec Room Original didn't really have any events to go with its launch. The whole Barbie thing was pretty much just a cosmetics drop. There was Retcon 2023, but that was basically just the same as every other retcon. While I was scripting this, they started teasing the whole Rectober thing, and I thought that might be an actual event, but now that we know more about it, it again just seems like another cosmetics drop. Look, all I'm saying is that Rec Room Clash is still on the table, okay? I won't even make you Venmo me $5 for it anymore. So, I guess we get to take this single victory from this video, even if it has a lot of caveats that make it actually not that great of a victory. If you want to see more about Rec Room's new thumbnail policy that I talked about earlier, along with a whole bunch of other new Rec Room news, then check out this video. But otherwise, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.